The NBA trade deadline is fast approaching, and every team is rearranging their targets. There won't be many stars on the market, so teams may have to settle for quality rotation players. However, teams may want to check in on De'Aaron Fox, Brandon Ingram, and Dejounte Murray's availability. So, let's take a look at the NBA's top trade targets for every team. Here we go. Up first, we have the Atlanta Hawks. Their dream target would be point guard Ben Simmons, their realistic target would be point guard Marcus Smart, and their sneaky target would be shooting guard Gary Harris. An appearance in the Eastern Conference Finals last season could result in an absence from the playoffs if this roster remains intact. As a result of moving Cam Reddish to the Knicks, Atlanta now has an extra 2022 first-round pick to trade for win-now help. Given the team's defensive needs, Simmons would be the first one on the list. Even with one of the league's best offenses, Atlanta's defense has kept them out of the playoffs. In the backcourt, adding a 6'11 shutdown option next to Trae Young could help balance the Hawks. The Hawks are interested in Simmons, according to Bleacher Report's Jake Fisher, but a third team may be needed to close the deal. If the Sixers don't want Simmons back, they have plenty of other defensive options. Smart signed a 4-year, $77 million agreement in August that remains one of the NBA's best backcourt defenders. He's also a decent enough distributor to get Young some catch-and-shoot opportunities. In 29 starts, Harris has averaged 11.5 points, 2.2 rebounds, 1.8 assists, and 35.6% from the three-point range. Up next, we have the Chicago Bulls. Their dream target would be Jerami Grant, their realistic target would be Larry Nance Jr., and their sneaky target would be Nicholas Batum. After trading for DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, and Nikola Vucevic, the Bulls must decide whether to empty their trade chest completely or keep the remaining young players. Patrick Williams, Colby White, and possibly other players will have to salary match or trade for Grant if he's targeted. But acquiring the dynamic forward would put Chicago on a collision course with the other title hopefuls in the congested East. As the team's starting power forward, Grant would be a valuable defender and scoring option between DeRozan and Vucevic. If the Blazers opt to perform a mini rebuild this season, Nance may be a great defender who can also span the floor. Batum is a versatile defender who thrives in a star-studded environment. He's also the best three-point shooter and makes $3.2 million. Up next, we have the Los Angeles Lakers. Their dream target would be Eric Gordon, their realistic target is Kenrich Williams, and their sneaky target would be Lou Williams. With multiple first-round picks still owing to the New York Pelicans in exchange for Anthony Davis, the Lakers just don't have enough trade equity to become a genuine contender for Jerami Grant, Ben Simmons, Miles Turner, or any other major name on the market. Gordon is most likely the best this team has to offer. This season, he's an outstanding outside shooter who can go up to the hoop and make plays for others. However, simply matching salaries could be a problem, as the Lakers would have to sign Talen Horton-Tucker and either Kendrick Nunn or a couple of minimum contract players to make the money work. Kenrich Williams and his $2 million salary are more attainable, but the Thunder should start demanding for a first-round selection in exchange for their 3-and-D star. The Lakers cannot trade a first-round pick until 2027, so they'll have to offer a package of second-round picks and/or Malik Monk instead. Lou Williams would be an intriguing choice if he were to return to Los Angeles. He struggled this season with the Hawks, but he was a key member of the Clippers only a year ago and might give some instant offense off the bench. Up next, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. Their dream target would be Jaylen Brown, their realistic target would be Robert Covington, and their sneaky target would be Marvin Bagley III. At this point, would the Celtics consider trading Brown? Most likely not. Should the Grizzlies still call Brad Stevens to confirm his availability? Absolutely. Memphis has been the most surprised club in the NBA this season and should be a buyer at the deadline, even if the team is still years away from peaking. Brown, at 25, would be the ideal combination of a ready-to-win young talent to offer either straight to Boston or as a part of a 3-team trade. Covington might be available if the Blazers fail to make the playoffs. Covington isn't the same defender he was a few years ago, but he could still serve as a 3-and-D option off the bench for a Grizzlies club that could use another playoff-tested veteran. Bagley is the wild card in this game. Memphis has clearly done an excellent job developing prospects in recent years, and dealing for the 22-year-old now would give the Grizzlies the right to match any offer he earns in free agency this summer. Next, we have the Cavaliers. Their dream target would be Brandon Ingram, their realistic target would be Karis LeVert, and their sneaky target would be Goran Dragic. As good as the Cavs' defense has been this season, this is still a middle-of-the-pack offense that has been hampered by the departures of Colin Sexton and Ricky Rubio. Adding another scorer/playmaker before the deadline would be a fantastic idea to aid with the playoff push. Ingram is a dream target because he's under the contract through 2025 and may become the team's top scorer on the wing. Given the relationship between the two front offices, the Cavs should be at the very least contact and inquire about the cost of Ingram. Any deal that does not involve Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, or Jared Allen should be taken into consideration. According to Hoop Hype's Michael Scotto, Indiana is looking for a first-round selection and a good young player in exchange for LeVert. With Sexton out for the season, he'd likely become the Cavs' starting shooting guard, and he can function as an on-ball playmaker for stretches while Garland rests. Dragic is technically a Raptor, although he is away from the team until the inevitable trade or buyout occurs. He'd be an ideal backup point guard for Cleveland, which can leverage Ricky Rubio's expiring contract to help broker a deal. Up next, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. Their dream target would be Bradley Beal, their realistic target is Bogdan Bogdanovic, and their sneaky target would be Joe Ingles. Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal have been one of the prominent names linked to Philadelphia in the rumor mill as the 76ers look for potential partners for a Ben Simmons trade. However, with Lillard's recent abdominal surgery, which could keep him out for the season, Beal is now the only healthy alternative. The pairing of Beal and Joel Embiid would be a nightmare for the rest of the Eastern Conference, propelling Philadelphia back to the top of the league. Despite a decline in scoring while playing with a better Wizards supporting cast, Beal is still averaging 23.7 points, 4.7 rebounds, 6.4 assists, and shooting at 45.3% overall. The Sixers should be concerned about Beal departing free agency, despite the fact that they are the only team that could offer him a full 5-year max deal this summer. Bogdanovic, who is 6'6", can play either wing position and is a great scorer and eager facilitator. If the Sixers decide to trade Simmons to Atlanta, they should include Bogdanovic in the deal. With Utah paying more than $16 million in luxury tax, Ingles might be the next player to leave if the team wants to save money. At 34, Ingles' defense is deteriorating, but he's still an outstanding passer and three-point shooter who might serve as Philadelphia's 7th or 8th man. In the number 7 spot, we have the Phoenix Suns. Their dream target would be Josh Hart, their realistic target would be Thaddeus Young, and their sneaky target would be Harrison Barnes. The Suns, who have the best record in the NBA this season at 35-9, don't require much assistance. Going all in on a player like Jerami Grant might be tempting, but it isn't required to win a championship. Instead, Phoenix should seek an extra wing and frontcourt depth. Hart checks a lot of the boxes in terms of becoming a contender. He's a 6'5" wing who averages 13.3 points, 7.5 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and 1 steal while shooting 51.5% from the field. He's a capable defender who might serve as Phoenix's all-around purpose 6th. Young is a playoff-tested veteran who can play power forward and center and is well-liked in the locker room. He's proven to be a strong three-point shooter when called upon, and he's a solid post defender. Barnes' salary-matching gymnastics may be required, but he'd be an upgrade over Jay Crowder as the team's starting power forward. Barnes, who won the NBA championship with Golden State Warriors in 2015, is hitting 41.5% of his three-point attempts this season, a career high. Up next, we have the Portland Trailblazers. Their dream target would be Miles Turner, their realistic target would be Derek White, and their sneaky target would be Mitchell Robinson. While the Blazers' 18-26 record appears to be a waste, especially with Lillard out due to an abdominal surgery, Portland should be collecting defenders for a run next season. Turner has a stress fracture in his foot, but he's under contract until 2024 and may be the much-needed rim protector for this club. This season, Portland ranks lowest in opponent shooting in the basket. If the Blazers trade CJ McCollum, White would be an excellent backcourt mate for Lillard. He's a good on-ball defender who can handle point guard duties for extended periods of time while allowing Lillard to spot up from 3. Up next, we have the Dallas Mavericks. Their dream target would be Christian Wood, their realistic target would be Buddy Hield, and their sneaky target would be Kemba Walker. Dallas ranks 25th in three-point shooting, which is far too low when you have a table setter like Luka Doncic. This squad could use a couple more shooters, and Dallas has a $10.9 million trade exception to do so. Wood provides the Mavericks with another offensive option, and he's a decent enough floor spacer to increase the team's rating. Wood can operate out of pick and roll or face up his opponents, relieving Doncic of his offensive pressure. Lineups featuring both Wood and Kristaps Porzingis, who can play power forward and/or center, could theoretically work. Hield is the NBA's 3rd leading three-point shooter and could be the team's starting shooting guard or 6th man. Walker's $8.7 million contract would be covered by the Mavericks trade exception, giving Dallas another ball handler who is hitting a career-high 40% from 3. Walker, who has been in and out of the Knicks rotation all season, could find more consistent playing time with the Mavericks. And finally, in the number 10 spot, we have the Celtics. Their dream target would be John Collins, their realistic target would be Eric Gordon, and their sneaky target would be Ben McLemore. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown do not need to be separated by the Celtics. They do, however, need to inject a lot more shooting around their star 2 into this lineup. Collins has developed into the NBA's best three-point shooter, capable of playing the pick and roll and dishing out some devastating dunks. He's in the first year of a 5-year, $125 million deal, but his future in Atlanta is uncertain. Collins, Tatum, Brown, and Robert Williams III would form a wonderfully talented big four, all of whom are 25 or younger and cannot be free agents until 2024 or later. Gordon also has been one of the top floor spacers this season. He might start with Marcus Smart in the backcourt or come off the bench as the team's 6th man. Gordon would provide the Celtics with another scoring option while relieving some of the stress off of both Tatum and Brown. McLemore is the most affordable of the three, with a $2.4 million expiring contract. and he's hitting 39.1% of his three-point attempts in Portland. While he isn't much of a defender or facilitator, his shooting ability could be crucial for this offense. Well guys, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to Tip Top Sports, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.